Good morning. We welcome this new day we received with song. Number 1020, Wo Ya Ya. Please make sure that your audio is turned off and sing with us energetically this morning. Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Gwinnett. My name is Lydia Patrick. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And it is my great pleasure to be with you this morning and to lead the service today, while Reverend Jan has stepped up and offered to be our Zoom manager this morning. She will return to the pulpit next Sunday, October the 3rd. If you have a chalice at home to light with me in a few minutes, please have it ready. We arrive from many places and many life experiences as we gather to recall our true selves, reflect on the meaning of our lives, and explore questions of ultimacy together. We are people who are new to Unitarian Universalism and people who are lifelong Unitarian Universalists. We are people of many religious beliefs and spiritual practices, and we affirm and promote the responsible search for truth and meaning. We are a people of many genders, sexualities, ethnicities, origins, ages, shapes, sizes, and expressions of our true selves. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people. We are people of all ages and family structures, and we each bring gifts and talents and passions that serve to affirm and promote communities with peace, liberty, and justice for all. We are a people of covenant, who engage with one another in ways that promote and affirm justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. We are people who care deeply for our planet and understand that we are profoundly connected with the web of existence. We are people who welcome all who are seeking a community of faith. We welcome your whole self, all that you were, all that you are, and all that you yearn to be. And you are just where you should be, in a room that will be filled again with thoughtful, compassionate Unitarian Universalists ready to meet you where you are. You are welcome here. You are welcome at home. If you are a newcomer this morning, we welcome you and hope that you will indeed find your spiritual home here with us in this space that is our spiritual home. We are becoming a radically welcoming sanctuary in a green space, and we foster spiritual growth as we joyfully nurture connections and community within our walls when we can again and beyond. If this is your first time here, I encourage you to join us several times in many different capacities to experience the full flavor of this congregation, this faith tradition. Come, be curious, courageous, and compassionate with us. Our title for today's service is taken from the poem written by Shel Silverstein called Where the Sidewalk Ends. That place where we find one thing ending, yet before the next thing begins, where life is not yet the next reality, but where we pause and consider what is yet to be possible. Let us take a deep breath together to become more fully present to this precious time we've set aside to be together this week. Breathe deeply. As sound vibrates through us and around us, may we be reminded how deeply and profoundly interconnected we are with one another, all humanity, all beings, all living things, and all the stars in the cosmos. Our opening words come to us this morning from Reverend Gretchen Haley. Let astonishment be possible. Whatever you have come in anticipating, whatever you expect or worry for our world, for the future of our lives, let it go. Make space in your heart to be surprised. Make room in your soul for a new story to take shape. Let astonishment be possible at this life that remains a miracle. Imagine here a bursting of joy, relentless and resilient, coming in waves, washing over us with music and story and silence. And still, this dreaming together, being hope for each other and courage to believe in this new day dawning for all of us. Come, let us worship together. Our chalice lighting words come to us from Reverend Karen G. Johnston. Unless we go forth, what can we only see in the dark? How do we know the answer unless we venture there, into the dark, without a flashlight or a headlamp, without candle or match, or even the glow of a handheld screen? What can we know only in the dark? How do we sense the myriad possibility unless we go forth this way and that, lose track of forward, perhaps even up and down, a spacious momentum drawing us on, unknowing, making space for mystery and possibility? And now it's time for the Wonder Box. Thank you, David. What's inside today? What is it? A purple crayon. What else? A book. What book? Harold and the Purple Crayon, written by Crockett Johnson. I love this book. I'm glad it was in the box. This was my first book, even before I knew how important words would be to me. This was the first book my mom actually trusted to leave me with alone in the children's section of the library. According to Google, the overarching theme of Harold and the Purple Crayon is deciphering reality. It's an ambiguous idea. The discussion of reality will throw children supposedly into a fun and active, topsy-turvy discussion of what it means to be real and how one gives the objects the power of reality. So this is a book about possibility. What might be? It's about a boy who can't go to sleep one night, so he takes a walk. He takes his purple crayon with him, and he draws possibilities. He drew a path, and a field, and a forest, and the moon went with him. He drew an apple tree and a dragon. He drew a boat. He traveled on the ocean, and the moon went with him. He drew a picnic where he had all of his favorite pies, and he drew and climbed up a really big mountain, and the moon went with him. This book is about more adventures and endless possibilities of all of things created by Harold's imagination, and how in the end, which I'm not going to tell you, I want you to read the book yourself. In the end, he and the moon find their way home. So, if you could create your own adventures with a purple crayon or a crayon of any color of your choice, what adventures might you create? What possibilities do you see? Would the moon travel with you? I would like to challenge us each this morning to take inspiration from the words, the songs we share today, grab a crayon and some paper, and if you are willing and able and feel like it, create some stuff on that paper for yourself, or maybe something you want to share later on. And as we sing our hymn of the day, which is "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple," feel free during those moments of music to go on your journeys. Think, draw, write, create something if you want to. So what I would like, after each of our selected readings and reflections this morning, we are going to start by singing "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple," and then we are going to listen to several different artists rendering the song again. And each time, if you're willing and able, as the music begins, take some time to imagine what might be. And if you feel so inspired, draw a picture or a word cloud or something for you to bring life to those moments of inspiration. So first together, let's sing hymn number 16, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple." And if you want to, while you're singing, go grab a paper and some crayons.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, will be our delight, till that turning become round right.
The Chairman by Robert Fulghum. We say the young have much to learn, but I find they know and do things unfamiliar to me, so I am pleased to learn from them when I can. Example, 2 young college men asked me for a ride because they were late to work. Their summer construction job was near my office, so I was glad to oblige. On the way I asked, besides working hard and playing hard, what's happening in your lives? They exchanged glances. Then one said, "We're eating a chair." What? Yes, it seems that their college philosophy teacher gave them an extra credit assignment. Do something unique and memorable, not dangerous or foolish, but something imaginative, inventive, and instructive. Write it up and explain what was learned and how it might apply to their philosophy of life. So, they are eating a chair. They bought a plain wooden kitchen chair at an unfinished furniture store. Using a wood rasp, they've been shaving away at that chair, mixing the dust into their granola for breakfast, and sprinkling the dust on their salads at dinner. So far, they've consumed most of a leg, 2 rungs, and a back piece. And while they don't want to overdo it, the pace is picking up. Still, the project may not be finished before summer's end, so they may enlist friends, who it seems are enthusiastically willing to help eat a chair. And yes, they consulted a physician to make sure the wood dust was not harmful, and no, it doesn't taste bad, especially if they mix in a little cinnamon at breakfast and a little lemon pepper at dinner. And yes, they have learned a few things along the way. Like what, I asked. Like how amazing long-term goals can be achieved in incremental stages. Like how something seemingly idiotic affects your thinking about other things you do. For example, they routinely run about 15 miles a week to stay in shape, around and around a lake. They wondered where 15 miles a week would take them if they ran in a straight line. So they got a road map and have been marking off the mileage headed south. They could be in Portland, Oregon in a couple of weeks, but that's boring. So they have a European map now and are starting out in Vienna, headed for Athens. Using guidebooks, they're figuring out what there is to see and do along the way. They're touring the world in their minds. And of course, they're very pleased with themselves. They're sure they'll astound the professor when he asks for their report. "We ate a chair. It will blow the dude away," said one. For all the goofiness of the project, these young men are learning patience and perseverance. Some things cannot be had except on a little at a time, keep the long goal in mind, stay focused basis. Love and friendship are like that. Marriage and parenthood too. And peace, and justice, and social change. As wonderfully silly as it seems, eating a chair may lead my young college friends to wisdom and nobler aspirations. In their foolishness lies the seed of what might be, little by little.
Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we won't be ashamed. To turn we will be our delight, till by turning we come down right. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we won't be ashamed. To turn we'll be our delight, till by turning we come down right.
This next reflection is called Answer Mountain by Sarah E. Squire. Long ago and far away, or yesterday and just around the corner, or maybe somewhere halfway in between, there was a town that sat quiet and content, tucked into the shadow of a mountain. And carved into the side of that mountain, big and tall, so no one could miss them, were the words, "The answer is no." No one knew where the words came from or why they were there. They just had always been there. But oh my goodness, those people depended on that word, those words. Because whenever they had a question, all they had to do was look up at the mountain and read it, and the answer was always no. Making decisions was very simple. Life went on smoothly until one day, because on that particular day, Ma Custis was about to make dinner for the family, and she just could not decide, because sometimes you just really don't know what you're going to make. Pasta or stew, potatoes or dumplings. So she went out into the yard and she said to the mountain, "What? Should I make liver for dinner tonight?" And the mountain said, "The answer is no." And she said, "Okay, nobody really likes liver anyway, but what about steak? Should I make steak for dinner?" "No." "Should I make chicken?" And mountain said, "The answer is no." "Should I make tacos or tofu, baked beans, broccoli, pork chops, or popcorn?" "Popcorn." And the mountain said, "The answer is no." Finally, Ma Custer just gave up, and she went and made the liver anyway. And her family hated it. Well, of course, the mountain said no. Her kids hated it. Her husband was so angry because Ma knew that he didn't like liver, and she made the liver anyway. She's sort of out of choices. But Ma got upset because Pa was upset and the kids were upset. And they said, why does the answer always have to be no? So the next time they had a town meeting, she stomped in and she said, we've got a problem. That mountain always says no. How can we make decisions on our future if we know the answer is always going to be no? Something needs to happen. That mountain needs to be recarved. So Mason Sharp, the stone carver, said, I can help with that. I can change it. And so he did. Mason spent the next couple of days changing the response from the mountain. And now the answer was yes. So further on down the road, a couple of days later, Ma Custis, who had started all of this, approached the mountain and said, should I make liver for dinner tonight? And the mountain said, the answer is yes. The problem with that was, she said, Pa hated the liver. Last time I made it, he and the kids threw a big fuss. Family had an argument. The whole town got together and talked about it. Should I really make liver? And Ellen said, yes. Are you sure? I mean, that was a huge fight, biggest fight we've ever had. We didn't speak the rest of the week till after the town meeting. Should I really be making this liver for dinner tonight? And the mountain said, yes. So she made the liver. And that was not a windful situation. So at the next town meeting, they had another big hullabaloo. And they said, well, the answer can't always be yes. So we need to come up with something else. And Mason, the stone carver, said, well, okay, you guys talk about it and let me know what you want, and I'll go fix it again. So they thought about it, and they thought about it. They mumbled, they grumbled, they had some conversations, they did some brainstorming, and they decided that the answer should be from the mountain. Well, the answer is sometimes yes, and the answer is sometimes no, and sometimes wait, and sometimes wait and see, and sometimes perhaps, and sometimes as if, and sometimes maybe, and sometimes maybe not, and sometimes who, what, where, when, or how. And Mason, the stone carver, took all this in. He said, I can do it. Yep, I can do it. I can do that. I can do that. You just need to give me some time. I can do it. I can do it. And so it was. And he went up there to make those changes. The funny thing was that for a little while, Mason worked on that mountain every day, and everybody waited eagerly to see the new answer, the new changes, the updates, the uploads. But soon, poor old Mason got tired of working on that mountain, climbing up every day, chipping away at it, coming back down, because it seemed like everybody else got tired of waiting. And they sort of stopped looking up to check on his progress and giving him those words of encouragement. And instead, they started asking each other questions about their daily lives, and they started responding to those questions and having discussions and their own brainstorming sessions and giving some support and ideas and offers to help. And well, what they realized was that different questions had different answers, and some things just couldn't be solved right away, and that even the same questions had different answers depending on when they were asked and what the circumstances were that led up to the question, and that there were really so many more questions than answers that they had ever even imagined, that, well, it all just became perfectly fine with them to not have a simple solution all the time. And after a while, they thought, well, you know what? We got it. So from that point moving forward, anytime they had a question and they looked up to the mountain for the answer, the mountain said, and they were quite happy with this, because at that time, they were capable of finding their own solutions, because the mountain's answer was going to be under construction. It's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting. Paulo Coelho.
Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small people who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Muhammad Ali.
If I were to wish for anything, I should not wish for wealth and power, but for the passionate sense of the potential, for the eye which, ever young and ardent, sees the possible. Pleasure disappoints. Possibility, never. Soren Kierkegaard.
There's more to see in myself than just what I look for. There's more to see in my enemies than just what I look for. There's more to see in this country than just what I look for. I need this to be true. I need to stop looking for affirmation of what I already believe and instead see the world and others and myself through the eyes of a God who loves all of it madly. Nadia Bolz-Weber.
For a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. The shell cracks, its insides come out, and everything changes. To someone who doesn't understand growth, this would look like complete destruction. Heather Warman.
Things to Think by Robert Bly. Think in ways you've never thought before. When someone knocks on the door, think that they're about to give you something large.
The Low Road, Marge Piercy. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again after they said no. It starts when you say we and know who you mean, and each day you mean one more.
The Magic Carpet by Shel Silverstein. You have a magic carpet that will whiz you through the air to Spain or Maine or Africa if you just tell it where. So will you let it take you where you've never been before? Or will you buy some drapes to match and use it on your floor?
Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. There is a place where the sidewalk ends and before the street begins, and there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moonbird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black and the dark street winds and bends, past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow. We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk-white arrows go to this place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow. And yes, we'll go where the chalk-white arrows go. For the children, they mark. And the children, they know the place where the sidewalk ends. I invite us now to enter into a time of silent reflection as we create a container of compassion to hold all that is in our hearts. Our prayer this morning comes from Reverend Sarah Lawal to ask what's possible. Spirit of life and love, holy mystery, may we hear the voice within calling us to ask what's possible, to walk to the edge, to shed the fear and need for control and dance with the infinite for a while. May we set down the list of wrongs and hurts and see obstacles as invitations for innovation, beckoning our creativity. May we hear each other's voices of love and encouragement. May we hear the cries of the world asking us who we choose to be. May we be vessels of comfort and compassion. May we be vessels of hope and healing. May we be vessels of peace and justice. May we hold one another with compassion and loving kindness. Blessed be. Our congregation is committed to creating a more compassionate world. To this end, each quarter we split our plate connection with an organization nominated by people in the congregation and selected by our Giving Away the Plate committee. Our quarter recipient this time is Special Needs and Treats, a Gwinnett-based nonprofit organization, which on the outside looks like many other bakeries and warehouses, but it provides job training and employment to special needs adults. They bake cookies, cakes, and other sweet treats, and by doing so, they develop social skills and confidence. The organization sells to the public, but it also provides baked goods to homeless shelters, food pantries, foster care systems, and other support groups. They also give free birthday cakes to special needs individuals in Gwinnett County. We love that place. We go there all the time. Our plate contributions also support the shared ministry of this congregation. So I ask that you please give generously to support the work of this important ministry in our wider community, as well as the vision and mission of our congregation. As we listen to our pianist, Brian Bishop, who is here with me today, yay, play the Prelude No. 10 in C-sharp minor by Dmitri Shostakovich. You will see on the screen ways to contribute to our offerings via PayPal, Venmo, or by mailing a check payable to UUCG in the address shown. And if you are worshiping with us for the first time, your presence here today at home is a generous gift to this community. Even still, you may choose to let the plate pass and enjoy the music. The offering will now be most gratefully received. Thank you, Bryant. May the generous gifts received this week move us towards realizing our vision of a more connected and compassionate world. Please join me this morning as I offer gratitude to some very important people. I'm so grateful for my worship associate, Bob Patrick, and my other worship associate, David Morgan, for helping me today with the readings and reflections and navigating this new space, this very empty space, and feeling, even so, a sense of community as we work together. I'm very grateful for Reverend Jan for stepping up to be my Zoom manager this morning. I feel you at home, thank you. And for Christiana McWayne for helping me find and build and set up the resources this morning from Soul Matters. She does such an excellent job and is always ready to offer even the slightest bit. And thank you today for finding me a purple crayon. That was critical. I'm so very thankful for my tech team, Russ Taddeo and Dan Kelly, who without this service would not be possible, and for helping me point so that I'm looking at the right place. I'm also grateful for anyone who has commented or helped me reflect via chat or private message on the services that I've done in the past. I will tell you, to be honest, I don't look at them after the service because it's all too close to me. But in the weeks following, I hunt you people out and I look at what you said and I take it all in, and I actually went back 2 years to help build this morning's ideas. And so I thank each and every one of you. I don't know where you all are. I'm imagining that you're here or that you're home safely. But I thank you because it does take a community. Now is our time for call to connection. Thank you, David.
Now is our time to call to connection, to review ways to connect within and beyond our congregation. If you are new to our congregation, I invite you to sign up for our weekly e-news and monthly newsletter. You can email info@uucg.org and ask our administrator to add you to our mailing list on MailChimp. Next Sunday, our Starting Point program begins. This is a small group program that meets 4 times to explore your spiritual path, learn more about Unitarian Universalism and this congregation. We encourage established members to take part as well so our newcomers can build connections with people who are already involved. And slight correction on that slide, the last meeting will be on November the 14th instead of November the 7th. If you missed any of our past services or want to watch one again, they are on our UU Gwinnett YouTube channel. I understand that there's a bit of a backlog getting the very recent ones up, but they go up. On the first Sunday of every month, we collect food and household products for the Lawrenceville Food Cooperative. Please bring your donations to the church between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock next Sunday, October 3rd. And notice that the items that are most needed right now are not so much food items, but toiletries and other kinds of products. As Unitarian Universalists, we are always seeking truth and meaning from a variety of sources, and we do this best in community. Please register your household for our faith development programs, which include our 10 o'clock program every Sunday for teens and adults, and our religious exploration program for elementary-age children on the first and third Sundays at 12:30. Both take place on Zoom. Parents of preschoolers are in the process of finding a date once a month when they can gather to learn and grow together. Our coordinator of family ministries curates activities and resources related to our monthly theme. There is something here for all ages and for wherever you are on your spiritual journey. Please take advantage of these resources. Excuse me. We have several regular activities weekly and monthly where you can get connected with others in the congregation and grow your spirit. Gwinnett Understanding Secular Truths on the second Mondays at 7. Covenant Choir gathers to check in and plan virtual choir pieces every Tuesday at 7. Women's Spirituality Group meets on the second Fridays. Exploring Tarot with Sherry is every Sunday at 5. Yarns from the Heart gathers to knit, crochet, embroider, sew, and chat together on the first and third Wednesday mornings at 10. And Belief Exploration is on second Sundays at 12:30. Our annual budget pledge drive is here. Please mail your form to the address shown on the form. Tony Nastri is our coordinator for this year's pledge drive. You can also use the online form by choosing the Give button at the very top of the homepage on our website. We need all pledges by October 15th so we can work on the budget for 2022 before Reverend Jan goes on sabbatical on November 1st. A reminder that our pastoral care associates are on call 24/7 to provide confidential spiritual or emotional support, or if you are feeling lonely and just want to connect with someone. Please note, we have a new phone number. We are unable to forward calls from the previous number, so please be sure to update this information on your Care Circle roster or your refrigerator magnet.
Please rise in spirit as we say together the words. As we say together the words we say when we extinguish our chalice. And this will be followed by some more closing words from me and some music at the end. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. So to choose the closing words this morning, I went back to a conversation I had on Facebook Messenger with Bill Benchoof after a service that I did in January of 2019 that was called A Life Without Resolution. He shared a song with me by a group called the Elephant Revival. And when I was chatting with him about it, he said that he actually got the song from a conversation that he had with Russ Taddeo. And so I thank you all for that. I actually added it to my my swimming tape that I play when I'm at the pool. So here is what I've learned while working on the service for today. It takes a village. It takes a village for me, and I imagine it takes a village for all of us to take some of those very important steps when we are re-beginning our journeys. It takes a series of questions and answers. And sometimes, more often than not, more questions than answers. It takes willingness to fail and try again and again. It takes stepping off, stepping out, stepping into. It takes beginning again and again. Listen to these words by Bonnie Payne in the song that we're going to hear in just a minute. It's called Remembering a Beginning. Out on the road, endless fields grow, where no one knows, but everybody's wondering, where does it go? The wind that blows. And where does it come from? Everybody's wondering. Alone, they cry, let me be inside the ocean tide, remembering a beginning. When the water climbed up the mountainside, deep and open wide, remembering a beginning. There's a fire burning in the middle of this turning, wild and yearning for everything. For everything remains inside. These changing skies through waves in time, remembering the way to home. How the sparrow knows. Through the days they've flown, how everybody's wondering what has seen these skies below, up high, what the skies have seen. remembering a beginning.
Out on the road in vast fields grow, where no one knows, but everybody's wondering, where does it go? The wind that blows, where from does it come? How everybody's wondering. Alone, she cries, let me be inside the ocean tide, remembering a beginning when the water climbed up the mountainside, deep and open wide, remembering a beginning. There's a fire burning in the middle of this turning, wild and yearning for everything remains inside these changing skies, who waits in time, remembering. The way to home, how the sparrow knows through the days they flown, how everybody's wondering what has seen these skies below up high, what the skies have seen, remembering a beginning.
Our service has ended, and now our service to one another and our wider community begins, whatever that looks like this next week. Be well. Continue to wear your masks, get vaccinated if you haven't already, and reach out to connect with others in any way that you feel safe doing so. And Reverend Jan will be back next week, October the 3rd.